for her contribution and for obtaining the debate. My constituency covers two of the local authorities involved on Merseyside, Liverpool City Council and Knowsley Borough Council. I want to say a little bit about Knowsley. It's a small authority. It's been disproportionately hit by the austerity and the brutal cuts which my honourable friend has referred to in her introductory speech. It's lost over half of its funding, over £100 million. Its average loss has been £485 per person, compared to the average loss countrywide of £188 per person through the years of austerity cuts. Yet Knowsley Borough Council is the second most deprived borough in the nation. It was ranked 5 when the Lib Dem Tory coalition began to impose austerity. It's now ranked 2, the second worst. So it's not been improving over that period of time, Mr. Hollowbone. Its situation has worsened. It has the lowest score in the city region in terms of deprivation affecting children, the second lowest for older people. There are over 10,000 households in fuel poverty, 15% of the total, many of them living in my own constituency, in the Halewood part of my constituency. They're now facing a cost of living crisis, as well as having to deal with the austerity cuts that my honourable friend has set out. Inflation at its highest level for 30 years. Energy bills about to rocket by 54%. Food prices rising faster than general retail prices, wages stagnating and falling in real terms, and tax increases to national insurance and council tax stealth increases yet to come in April. The cut in universal credit has impacted many people in Knowsley, with many now having really to choose between heating and eating. That is the choice facing them. When they turn to the council for support, after 12 years of brutal cuts, the amount of support that can be given is much lower than it used to be, and it's much harder for the council to provide the kind of support that they used to do. This is the same in Liverpool. The capacity for local people to get support from the council has been severely curtailed because of the impact of the cuts over that period of time. Now, levelling up as a concept, Mr. Hollowbone, if it means anything, surely it means improving the lives of people in places like Knowsley, to level them up to the better standards of living that there are in other parts of the country. So one might have expected that Knowsley would have had some part of the levelling up funding that the government has already been talking about providing, but it hasn't. Despite making bids for the funding that the government keeps saying is available, there have been no funding. They didn't include the council's bid for the levelling up allocation. It wasn't successful, and there's been no funding, other levelling up funding from the other schemes, the schemes that the government have been dispensing largesse with, to Knowsley either. So the funding that the government have said is to be allocated to level up places like Knowsley has not been given to Knowsley. Instead, it's been given to other places that perhaps are not as high on the list of the indices of multiple deprivation as Knowsley is. This isn't good enough. I hope the Minister is going to come up with a better way of making sure that people in Knowsley can get the respect and the levelling up funding that they deserve, because it hasn't happened so far.